You are tuned to Indraprastha channel. Today, in our special program of having a guest in our program, that's our guest tonight, we have Dr. Sanjay Gupta, the Vice Chancellor of World University of Design. It's an honor that he has spared his valuable time with us, and our listeners will definitely learn a lot from his experiences. So firstly, sir, huge warm of welcome to you. Welcome to the studio of All India Radio.
Good evening, everyone. Vineeta ji, thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Dr. Gupta, we have heard so much about you, the popularity that you have with your pupils and all. But more than anything, we would like to know that you have had a very nice education. Like you have studied in best institutions of this country. And our listeners would definitely be very happy to know all that.
Yes, I think my journey has been quite eventful. But like every middle class person, my journey also started way back in the 80s, like a regular student. We came to know through somebody that IITs exist and you have to go and give an entrance exam.
The rigorous journey of being in IIT.
So we just sat for IIT.
You got through.
And then you are in IIT, you get involved in student activities. And then my interest in art came forth and design came forth. And
It was then only during your IIT days?
During my IIT days only, but not during my undergraduate. I was then doing my PhD when NIFT got set up. And at that time, they were looking for a person who knew about textiles to come and teach. So while I was a student, I started teaching in NIFT way back in the 80s. And that's where going to NIFT, teaching the students, I felt the energy. It pulled me, from engineering to design side. And that's how my journey started into design.
See, it's a complete switchover. There was a time when our values were different and the way it was imbibed by our parents, they wanted us to go the regular way.
Yes.
But see, you broke all the norms. You joined to be an engineer and then you completely changed your line to fashion designing and all.
Yes, I think it was quite a change and it was not easy.
Indeed, yeah.
I, of course, taught at NIFT in the 80s for a few years, but then I went back to complete my PhD and also then carried on for a few years into engineering.
Okay, and your IIM days?
IIM was was a short-term engagement, but the design kept pulling me. And, in the 90s, 94, 95, NIFT decided to set up a complete new department of textile design. And then I got contacted again that would you now like to set it up? That was the challenge I was looking for and took the plunge.
But see, something has to kind of knock you because all of a sudden you just can't feel like or switching over or becoming an expert in this textile or this fashion designing and all that. There must be someone who might have inspired you, or in your journey, somebody must be there.
See, I was in textile industry and I was one of those who would go into the industry, deep talk to people, visit all the departments, and I would visit the design department as well. And I had an interest in art. I used to paint and draw. And while being there, just out of curiosity, I would sit down in the design departments and start making some designs. And that would impress them. And I even managed to sell some design at that point.
Oh, that's an achievement.
So somewhere it was there that, but also being a science graduate and an engineering person, I could feel that textile design is not just about attractive prints. A lot of design has to do with the fabric. It can be crisp, it can be limped. You need one kind of shirt for morning, you need another kind of shirt for an evening party, you need a gown which must flow. So everything, that's design.
Oh, amazing.
And I thought that was not understood well in the industry.
It still is not understood by commoners like us because it's an eye-opener for me also that fabric is so important.
Fabric is the important one.
Yeah.
And so I thought even for fashion or textiles or home fashion or home textiles, as we say, the fabric design becomes very important and somebody must do this. And I was fortunate to get this opportunity with the textile department of NIFT. I think I brought in a big change in the way the designers were perceived in whole industry.
So once you joined and you got your dream job, I would say, because something that always fascinated you, So, what was your idea of spreading it in a proper way? Because it's not just being there and getting a job, getting paid, and all that. And more than anything, it's important to imbibe those things, the ideas with the commoners or with the students.
The textile industry in India is a very complicated one. We have on one hand a khadi and craft sector with handlooms and khadi and everything. We have mill sector. We have a processing sector which does dyeing and printing.
Okay.
And then we have a home fashion sector. So it's a very wide, and we have an industrial sector also. So textile is a very complicated thing. And when you are producing a graduate which can go into either direction, you have to give them inputs in all directions and make sure that their minds make their own choices, whether they want to go and work with craftsmen or whether they are suitable to work with corporates. Everybody needs designer. There is a market for them everywhere. And that's how the whole structure was made. And if you remember, in the mill days, there used to be design houses. In each mill, there would be a design room. And there would be maybe 100 artists sitting in that and making prints or designs. And at the end of the day, the supervisor would select 2-3 of them which will go into production, and the rest goes and get dumped. So that's how it used to work. It was a supplier market. I mean, you choose something, not customized.
Yeah.
It was the buyer, the customer, the consumer was never into this. So
Just come and select.
So we then changed the whole thing to consumer-centric. What does the consumer want? What are the international trends doing that? What colors are going to be in vogue 2 years from now? And then how do you design and go back and do that? So that kind of a structured approach to design is something we introduced in the market. And that was very easily taken up. It was initially an effort because we have to go to the industry, talk to them, talk to the artisans and say, why don't you just give it a try once and see? And even the first try was so powerful with the artisans and handloom organization. I can tell you that one student went and changed the complete way in which they were designing, and the consumer just picked it up. So much so that not just that artisan, his whole family and eventually the whole village would start making that kind of product. So that impact was happening because of the design intervention.
That means the motivation for innovation.
Yes.
Because you only motivated them enough and gave them this idea that their work will be appreciated or will be accepted once they understand the pulse.
Correct.
And now the scenario is a little different. It's not the same as it was earlier.
Yes.
Now people are more conscious also. So it's a huge university with so many students and all. How do they categorize their studies and all?
See, one of my learning while working in the industry is that, nothing works in a silo. Everybody works together. Even if you're a textile designer, you take inspiration from films, from what others are doing, from maybe art, performance, or whatever. So they work in synergy with each other and they take inspiration. So that idea remained with me. And when an opportunity came, I proposed that we set up a university where all the arts can coexist, all the creative streams can coexist and get synergized with each other. Now that was an alien idea because in our country, we have architecture schools which are separate, fine art schools which are separate, design institutions like NID, and IFT, they're all separate.
Graphics,
Graphics
everything.
Everybody wants to maintain their boundaries and silos. So I broke all that and I brought in all these streams under one umbrella and I pushed them to be collaborative, to work with each other. And that's how the World University of Design came into being. And today we offer almost 30 different specializations. And you can specialize in any one of them, but you can pick up a minor in anything else, or you can just explore other streams while you're studying one.
Is this the 3-year course, or how do they go about it, like the study duration and all that? How is it?
So all the undergraduate programs are 4-year programs.
4-year, okay.
We followed the NEP from day one. Everything is 4-year programs. Architecture is a 5-year program. Masters are 2-year programs. And then, of course, we have PhD.
As per NEP. So after the completion of their course, do they get their, placement, which is the most important thing that students keep on asking? How will they get their placement?
Absolutely. As I said, my industry connect is something which I'm very proud of. So I get them to work with the industry from day one. And as I said, I send them to the craft sector, I send them to the manufacturing sector, I send them to the corporate sector. They do a project with the industry, and most often than not, the industry makes them an offer even before they graduate. graduate. So 80% of my graduates are placed even before they graduate.
They know that where they are going and where they are heading and how lucrative is their career after the completion of their studies. So, Dr. you might have more plannings as the future endeavors, I would say, concerning these children now that you have almost channelized what you want. So, still plans left to make it better?
Yeah, the plans evolve,
Yeah.
in the last 2 years, as we have seen.
Plans are not planned.
Plans
Yeah.
are not planned. So, as you have seen in the last 2 years, we have this new entity, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I was about to ask something like that.
It has-
Has it curbed the creativity or has it blown it?
It has disrupted everything as we have known, because now it is based out of human intelligence. The existing human intelligence has been compressed and given to the computer, who is now using it faster than anything else we have known. So it's instant.
In every field, one can feel the interference of AI.
So it's like having a very, very smart assistant by your side all the time. So everybody can use it. If it can use it, it can be very smart. But then it also means that a lot of jobs, as we knew them to be, now no longer there, because we have now this assistant.
They can manage it so
They can
fast,
manage.
so well.
What the artificial intelligence cannot do so far
Yeah.
is think like a human, the spontaneity of the human,
Yeah.
the creativity of a human mind. And that's where design comes in, and it is still considered one of those streams which our AI is not yet achieved.
Unaffected.
Unaffected. So we are now introducing new courses. Like I have introduced a BTech in computer science and design. For 20 years, computer science was considered a program like a cash cow. You do computer science and you are good for life. But it is not so anymore, because a lot of those jobs are being done by AI. So what's new? So AI, the computer science and design is the new part, which everybody now looking for, and that's the future. So we started that program this year. And then there's another very interesting thing emerging, animation and gaming. Gaming is getting into everything. So much so that our Prime Minister has spoken about it twice from the Red Fort, this thing. So it's becoming very important. And we started a course 8 years back. It's doing very well. And now it's time to start a master's in it. So we started a master's program in game development. So that, I think, would go a long way. May I also say that we are also developing something unseen. We are developing the performing arts, music, dance, theatre. Music, dance in India have been a gharana based.
It's inbuilt in us. Everyone, if given a proper guidance and all, proper what? Even if you don't get proper guidance, then also it comes naturally
It's
to
natural
us.
to us.
We sing, we dance, and act also. But then, if given a proper way,
But it is still artist based. What we are looking for is making these streams professional streams. What happened during COVID? Everybody was stuck to the home. Every other stream could manage to come back in some way or the other, except performing arts, who didn't know what to do. Because
they suffered. They suffered.
because they're all artist based. It's the person based. It's not a profession. So I wanted to make this from there I got the idea. And after COVID, I started a professional programs in professional performing arts. And this year we are starting with theatre. Theatre is not a gharana based thing. It is a professional program, but this is something which is going up very high, and there are not many institutions offering this.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
So there's just one or two government institutions. So that's another of my focus area.
Oh, that's a very nice initiative that you've taken, and I'm sure whoever goes there or whoever listens to this program also, they're definitely getting ideas as to what to do with their lives, especially the youth. So it's time for us to conclude also. You have spared so much of your time, which is so precious. But then before we part, I would really like to know that a person who is overburdened with so much of work and all that, but then you enjoy your work. So
I enjoy
it's not that big a burden, because I know those who enjoy their profession, they are always in a nice, happy space. But still, there must be something to, keep you happy, which is, some interest of yours, which is other than what you work for.
Very early in my life, I heard a saying which stood with me throughout. Give me a man who sings at his work.
And you are one of those.
So I'm one of those who enjoy my work. It's my life and my work is one. So yes, I enjoy reading. I enjoy going to art exhibitions, talking to the artists, visiting industry.
That again is a
talking
part
to
of your
them.
work.
So it's not part of my work. It's part of me.
Your extensions.
My extensions. So that's how I live my life. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming here, and we are really happy that you're here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vineeta. It was a pleasure.
You were listening to the weekly program Our Guest that is broadcast every Monday at 9:15 a.m. Don't forget to tune in next week, same day, same time and same frequency for more on Our Guest. Have a nice day.